This is 4,132 pounds of plywood and 1,100 self-tapping screws, and this is an overconfident do-it-yourselfer. And it is finally time to get the roof on this 40 by 50 dream shop in my backyard. So last night we spent some time setting up our new scaffolding we picked up from Home Depot. We finally bit the bullet and invested in some of this stuff because we're gonna need this going forward. We have over 4,000 pounds of OSB and a whole lot of 2x8s that are gonna be going up there, lifted by yours truly. Before we get to the OSB, we have a lot of trim work to do with the 2x8s because this is a metal building red iron frame, the exterior of which has to be a full brick. Thank you, Homeowners Association. With that, we're gonna need some trim work, some hardy siding. In order to get all that done, I believe I'm gonna need to trim the edges with our 2x8s. That way it has something to mount to, and we need that done before the OSB goes on. It's gonna be a fun day, let's go. And Sarge, the OG, saw my Instagram story a second ago and he ran over here because he wants to help. Because we had to put somewhat of a trim or header, 2x8 mounted to the purlins, run a header up and across, and then from there we can actually mount like a hardy siding and get it painted and make it looking good. So in my mind, this is working correctly. However, if you are an expert in this, because I am not, and you see something out of sorts, leave it in the comments below. But if you guys are enjoying this dream shop build and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, if you enjoy it, scroll down, hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any updates, because we're doing this kind of ourselves without any knowledge of how to do it. Artwork. He's been at that piece for like 45 minutes. It's a really, really weird shape. He's just cranking wrenches, not shaving wood. That sounded weird, shaving wood. All the purlins on the front side are pretty much done except for the end pieces, which he just finally figured out. So we'll get those cut. So that'll give us a header, mount the OSB to it. It's gonna be super strong. In my head it is. Hopefully it is in reality. All right, we figured this side would be a little more complicated. We have on this side our purlins ending at the edge of the metal building. This is probably my fault from like a design perspective. I didn't catch this, but what should have happened is these purlins should have been hanging over a minimum 5.5 inches. That way we can account for the bricks coming up. The plan was to use a 2x8s in a similar method from the front in this direction and hang out the amount that we need. I did not anticipate the hardware though, so we're gonna have to accommodate for this hardware sticking out. We got a lot more work to do than I thought. We are off on our first of many supply runs on this project, but it also happens to be the holiday time frame, which means really good deals that are very enticing. But what the holiday time frame also will always bring is the fun task of just taking a back seat. Because let's be honest, taking care of yourself, especially during the holidays, it's tough, but it doesn't have to be. But fortunately, what we have here is AG1, a foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. So I've been drinking my AG1 for over a year now. One of my favorite parts is how easy it is to implement into your day-to-day routine. Because all you need is just a little bit of water and just one simple scoop of AG1. And then all you have to do is strap it to the lower control arm of your long travel suspension and fly through a cornfield. AG1 includes essential vitamins, minerals, and whole food source antioxidants that support immune defenses in the body. It also supports focus and energy. So AG1 is empowering people to take ownership of their health by providing a more universal approach. You can save $20 when you subscribe at ag1.com/Lonestar Hawaiian. They're also going to give my community a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2, as well as 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. So a big mahalos again to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Let's get this roof on.
Yeah, buy scaffolding and don't use it.
Did you figure out how to turn the camera on?
Yeah, after 2 days in SEMA.
Front side's done, except for the very ends, but the back side here, we really had to get exact. Basically, the purlins come and end at the edge of the building, which means we needed to extend those purlins out to make sure I have enough for the brick ledge, plus a little lip, just so it looks halfway decent. And it has to be exact because I'm gonna put a header plate all the way across and it needs to be straight or else it's gonna do that number. So I think we're right about there. This is taking forever. I was hoping to get at least the header plates on this weekend, but that might not be the case. Good news, all the plates are mounted and good. Give us something to mount the siding to because we want this to kind of match the house when it comes to the siding. Now I've been working on calling these the right things. Our soffit siding, essentially everything's the eave. Now the siding here overhangs by about 2.5 inches on the shop. I think we're gonna do something similar. This black portion is gonna be the siding hanging down around 2 inches. And then we have our soffit. So we figured out the exact height we're gonna go for the header plate being 8 1/4 inches. The siding, additional probably 2 inches that overhangs the bricks going down to the brick ledge. Good morning, Nellis! Oh, you're a good doggy. Also, huge moves being made here and now because I went to Harbor Freight yesterday, got myself a tool belt. It's my first one. The build show, better watch out. Hawaiian redneck got himself a tool belt. I got all our boards to this point. Now we're at the peak. We cut that one level, praying this one's gonna match up, and then we'll be good on the front side. That's one side. You have an old Chevy, you should know.
Mine's fixed.
Little Jimmy, got little Jimmy. So he's running for a material run and actually gonna grab his set of scaffolding. We'll have two working it, and he's taking the beast mode Makaha runner with the whole family too. Can I get shoots? And another full day. But next is a daunting task of ripping all of this siding. So we have LP Smart siding. We're gonna cut it at 11 inches. We got it on the header, put the siding in. Then we get to that massive mess of OSB. It looks so cool seeing this thing actually shape out like a building versus just a bunch of girts running across. All the way up, all the way down. And not to toot my own horn here, but that's pretty straight. Look at that. But now we're gonna rip a whole bunch of LP Smart siding with that guy. Before we get the roof sheathing up, we do have to get the trim all around the building, and we have some really interesting weather, really heavy rain later today. So we're gonna work a little bit on our little device that we're gonna use to get the OSB to the roof. Some kind of a rig, a pulley, and a few other things. And then once this weather passes, we'll be back out here to mount up the LP Smart siding we're using for the trim of the building. Well, the rain went away, but then the wind kicked up. We have like 25-mile-an-hour winds buzzing through here, and we've done a lot of painting. Once I get this trim mounted up, the bottom portion is going to be exposed to weather for a little bit while we do everything else around the shop. The last thing I want is for the trim that we cut, we mount, we spend a lot of money on, rotting. So we went ahead and painted all the exposed pieces when we mounted up. So that's done. But then I was looking closer at my new scaffolding. Wood on the platforms, just with a few storms we had, started to rot away. I went ahead, painted the platforms and got carried away, obviously, but hopefully that's now protected. I'll be honest, I underestimated the amount of work that it would take to get this thing ready to start roofing. But I'm happy to say we are now ready. We have that LP Smart siding all the way to the top, but you'll also see that the sides are not done yet. And the reason for that is we're gonna have to get ratchet straps and kind of pull these side girts perfectly level. And if I had the trim on there while doing that, I would damage it. So I'm gonna actually do the trim on the side after the OSB is up. I think it's gonna work better, especially with the ladders and everything going up and down. Get that OSB ready to go up. We're gonna start on the other side though, just in case I mess up, because that side's less noticeable. You get it. Well, I was gonna take a moment and celebrate. We have our first piece of sheathing on the roof, but we can't celebrate it because it took like an hour and a half. So between moving the scaffolding around and my boots being completely worn out, the bottom is just so slick, I can't really use them on the roof. So threw some tennis shoes on. So the plywood we're using, this is just under 3/4 inches thick. And the reason we were going vertical with it versus horizontal, 2 foot on center from this point onward. The gap between that one and this one is a little beyond 2 feet, which is why we're going vertical with these. My device to lift OSB worked pretty well. I need to go over there to that massive stack of OSB. We're moving in the right direction, just incredibly slowly. All right, definitely not where I wanted to be after an entire day's work, but there is a pretty steep learning curve on my end. I have a lot to learn when it comes to doing this type of stuff. I really got into rhythm there towards the end. We knocked out those last 4 quicker than really the entire day. So 3/4 of 1 row. We have no time tomorrow. We're gonna be gone all day. It's a holiday week right now, so hopefully the day after tomorrow we'll be back out here. Also, a massive shout out to this guy, still measuring and critiquing. Thank you, Dad, for the help today.
You're welcome.
Just trying to measure to the edge here to see how many more sheets we need. That would have been way more difficult without him. But yeah, the Hawaiian redneck contraption has been working out pretty well. We'll probably continue just pulling them up using a regular pulley. See you guys in about 3, 2, 1. Celebrating the moments that we can anyways. We have 1 row. I think the rest of it's gonna go a little bit quicker because we know how to do it now. This guy, absolutely no traction, refuses to stay off the roof. When the sun goes down as we're losing light, we got 1, 2, 3 rows on this thing. These gentlemen down here, we're gonna rip a whole lot of OSB.
You want to make sure it's 2 feet before we start cutting them off?
That would be wise. My handy dandy tool belt. Yep, dead on 2 feet. So to the very peak, we're sitting 1 inch under 9 feet. And that's really my fault in the design of this building. I could have caught that. One of those things, you do it once, you learn how to do it better the second time, and our next one will be a lot better. Woo! Another morning, guys. Let's get working. Say hi, cows. Uh-oh, shimmy down, shimmy down. Well, quick progress update. You can't really tell, but we got some weather rolling in fairly quickly, and we also lost our light. So we're scrambling right now, packing everything up. The good news is that half is completely sheathed, and we even got our blue piece. And we actually started this side as well. The first row in this thing always takes the longest. Scrambling, packing up, and we'll see you guys back in the morning. Whatever morning that is.
Dream big, 'cause boy, you're gonna make it. Stand tall, there's a higher road you're taking. Let go of everything that you know and be wild. been in the darkness for 40 days. I've been searching for holy flames, a sign to light up.
Also, as just a quick plug, a lot of you have been asking for more frequent updates on the shop progress. If you guys want to see more regular updates, check it out at Lonestar Hawaiian on Instagram. I post regularly on there as this stuff is coming about, so if you want regular updates. Otherwise, we try to consolidate all of these days of work into one video for you guys on YouTube, because that's what we do.
I've been called a righteous man before. Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before. So can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been...
And we've finally gotten into a good rhythm from a process standpoint, how to knock this thing out. So we have a mason line right here that runs all the way across to the far end on the purlin, because these purlins, they're not straight. So I straighten them as I go. So I put a nail right there, right where that ridge is, and run that mason line all the way across this ridge, and I'll line that purlin up as I go all the way down. That way, when I'm laying this OSB, the OSB is straight. We're gonna loop this mason line off on this side. Got a couple sheets. Let's go. All right, guys, last day. We are finishing this thing, the sheathing anyways, today. And it's taken a toll. So we destroyed my boots of 6 years. Those are gone. We've run through kind of a few pairs of gloves, missing fingers. I got all of these still, that's all that really matters. The last thing we have is this strip across the center. Off camera, I went ahead and threw a 2x4 across the peak to reinforce it. Now we need about 35 or so inches from this purlin to the very peak. And then I'm gonna graffiti the top because it's funny, up with some Aloha. Goofy of a piece. Good morning, says. And then Pop's bringing the good stuff. Let's go. Hello, Dallas. This is not for you. This is for me. Holy crap, we did it. We did it. 84 sheets in a very dirty camera lens. And our 40x50 Dream Shop roof is sheathed in my backyard. But we added obviously something to try and show some aloha to the local HOA, which I'm likely gonna get a letter for this. So we'll see how long it lasts. Actually, you know what? This space is for sale for the next 24 hours. If you would like to advertise on the top of my shop, partially kidding. The good news is, come up to the top. This is the very peak. This sucker is solid. Very happy we added that 2x4 across this peak, and it added a lot of structure. And there's a bazillion nails and way more screws than I initially thought. We had like 1,100 self-tapping screws to begin with. I at least doubled that. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos, for watching this series. If you're enjoying it, smash the like button below so I can afford some new gloves. Also, a big mahalos to these two gentlemen, my free labor, also known as family.
I got family.
That's gonna do it, guys. We'll catch you in a few days for our next video where we're gonna be installing probably an equivalent or even more weight on top of this roof. I'm gonna surprise you guys here, DIY, because I can't afford anybody to do it for me. Aloha. Yeah, that truck looks really good from up here. Get those hips. Oh, I'm excited for that. Yeah, that's true. All right. That's the end of this video. The next video starts right now.